I hope you're enjoying this edition of DXB today. It's the one where I feel really underdressed. Why? Because we're talking all things fashion, but more specifically, just how much fashion and the industry is booming. Not just here in Dubai, yet there's a lot going on here in the city, but the whole region at the moment as well. Something of an epicenter of an Arab fashion movement at present. Well, our next guest is a testament of that, mentors startups in fashion and sustainability, and is an expert in residence at Shira as well, and known as the First Lady of Modest Fashion. Please welcome to the show Rabia Z, Zargarpur, who joins us now live here on the sofa. Thanks so much indeed for being with us.
Thank you, it's my pleasure. Thank
really
you for having me.
To be on board. And we've had Nez just talking about you, the impact that you're having. We had Manuel talking about the impact that modest fashion is having. As the queen of modest fashion, I mean, what's your reading of not so much our understanding of modest fashion here in the region, which has always been there for generations, but the global perception of modest fashion? Have we got there yet? Do people fully understand?
That's a very good question. Do people fully understand? I think that we certainly have made an impact, and I'm sure Manuel will agree when I say that mainstream fashion has very much embraced it. We almost always, every Ramadan now, have the Ramadan collections, Ramadan edits. We have modest edits online. And majority, major players are doing that, from mainstream designers to online e-commerce stores. So that is very, promising. And I think it does validate. Recently, the Business of Fashion had an event called Crossroads here, which was definitely huge for us. For the modest fashion space, it was quite validating because we had our own panel and we were able to highlight how far we've come. But are we fully there yet? That's still up for debates. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something, because I feel that here in the region, especially, we always try to show the positive side of modest fashion, and we try to really to showcase it and to tell women that they are free to wear whatever they are. But for instance, when you travel, do you feel absolutely safe in certain countries when you want to wear your veil, or when you want to be wearing your abaya? How is it in reality?
In the year 2000, it was much harder to find anything modest, let alone modest and stylish. So I took that challenge and I started my own brand at the time. It was a rebellious thing I did, but I had no idea the need for modest fashion and the struggle that women face. So to your question, I mean, we're talking almost 20, 24, 25 years ago, right? By now, though we've done great, like I said, with all the mainstream brands catering to us and having our own brands doing a fantastic job with collections. Yes, there are certain countries I don't want to name, but we do still face backlash. We still get, looks, and not just, I think, not necessarily the modest dressing, but the scarf.
And sometimes very physical stuff, that you read on the news, that it's quite worrying.
Exactly. It's sad, but I think it will change. It will change. I'm very positive. It did change. For the longest time, we actually had good stability in that sense, but yeah, it will change though.
I like the fact that you said that you started this brand as a rebellion, because I used to live abroad, and it was very hard finding brands that cater to modest fashion and cater to things that I don't need to add too many layers, because not everywhere is cold. So once you started this brand, how did you find the reception? And now, and the other part of the question is, how do you find kind of the other brands kind of now trying to compete with modest fashion when originally they didn't have that?
Yes. See, I don't mind the competition at all. I believe the more the merrier. In mainstream, we have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of brands. In modest fashion, we need the same. We actually need more brands in modest fashion. So starting off, the reaction online, I started as an e-commerce label at the time before I turned it into a fashion label when I moved back home here. So online community's response was shocking in a positive way. Like, I had no idea the amount of women struggling for basic things, just basic long shirt, just a long sleeve t-shirt, something that would cover your hip imagine how difficult and I worked in my past in Valentino and I went to fashion school in New York. Being that fashionista, when I covered, I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked that how is it that there's not a single brand catering to the needs of our women. So when I did the online thing, it was great because I had people, women would write to me from all over the world with their personal struggles. The struggle wasn't just the clothing, actually. It was the perception. It was, you know, things like, I don't feel as attractive or as beautiful, or I'm having a hard time finding a job, or things like that. Like, it was very personal. So I think what was amazing is that we got to build a community. And that's why I'm very passionate about building purpose-driven brands, because it does build that community. So over time, it was very well received. When I moved it on to mainstream and I started to show full covered, full hijab on mainstream fashion weeks like New York, London, and many other countries. Even imagine Miami Fashion Week, where everyone else was showing bikini. I was invited to show, and I showed the same models fully covered. Same thing with Milan. We had a collaboration with Abu Dhabi Fashion Week a long time ago. I don't know if you know about that, Manuel, but the president of Camera Moda was there with the models. Everyone flew in from Milan, and it was so beautiful to them to see their models from Milan fully covered up. He came backstage, I'll never forget, he came backstage with tears. And he said, Rabia, I was so emotional watching your show, because seeing our girls covered and so beautiful, it's like he had goosebumps and he had tears. So I'll never forget. So I've had, thankfully, alhamdulillah, a lot of encouragement from mainstream to do what I did at the time. So.
Rabia, I'm glad that you brought up purpose-driven, because other than, of course, modest fashion, not just being a trend, it's here to stay, right? Another thing that shouldn't just be a trend is sustainability.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about sustainability in fashion. How are you incorporating that, and how do you feel like it should be a strategy, not just something that you're jumping in on?
Yes, we'll need a whole other segment to discuss the ethics part, as well as, unfortunately, the environmental impact that it has. So for us, when we started, we always promoted, it wasn't sustainable 25 years ago, obviously. We were more about breathability and natural fabrics and natural fibers and things like that, because you'll notice the Shayla, as much as I love it, it's still polyester. It's not breathable. Like, our hijab is not. Our Shaylas are breathable, sustainable. It took a while for us to get it to be sustainable, because you couldn't find fabrics and materials that were affordable enough within the price point that we were aiming at. So I think the thing with sustainability in terms of strategy is that we need a mindset shift. We need a mindset shift, because people think that, oh, you know, there are designers that I mentor think, no, we want to try sustainable fabrics and materials, but they're expensive and it doesn't fit in our pricing. So for that, I have a story in terms of strategy. I had a collaboration with one of the largest e-commerce companies out of Turkey that we sold globally through them, through 110 countries. So they're fast fashion though. And I did not want to work with them for the longest time. Just like H&M though, they had these designer collabs. So when they said, let's do this, it took them a while to convince me. I told them I'll only do it if we could create a sustainable fast fashion line. They said it's impossible. But it's not impossible in Turkey. So what I did is I took matters in my own hand, and this is why I encourage my mentees to do the same. You know, don't listen to anyone. Go out and do the work yourself. When I went in and deep dived there in Turkey, I was able to source the most beautiful, sustainable fabrics within the price point, and I did it. And though we were not 100%, the collection wasn't sustainable, but 75% of it was. And like, it made so many headlines, and it encouraged so many of the vendors on that platform that, wait, you could do sustainable collections from Turkey? And I was like, Turkey is like one of the best countries for sourcing that.
Just have to be willing to do the legwork.
Just do the legwork, and don't be afraid. It is possible. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rabia, for being with us and inspiring us so much with your journey into modest fashion. But I think it's time now for Louis with the DXB60.
Oh yes, Manuel, are you familiar with the DXB60? We're about to put you on the spot. 60 seconds to know all about you. Are you ready?
Well, I guess so.
Your 60 seconds starts in 3, 2, 1. One celebrity that you would love to feature in Vogue Arabia.
I already did, but Rihanna again.
Your motto in life and in work.
Anna Winter, my boss.
No, your motto in life and work.
Oh, my motto, not my model. My motto in life, work hard, play hard.
Aha. If you could have an AI assistant, what tasks would you want it to handle?
I would prefer not to have one.
If you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
With my mom.
Best part about your job.
The best part about my job is that moment when the magazine comes fresh from the printing press.
The most memorable interview you've had in Vogue Arabia.
Karl Lagerfeld.
Wow. Your go-to restaurant in Dubai.
Ooh, so many. But I think that Zuma is a classic for everyone.
A book, movie, or series that you'd like to recommend.
I'm terrible with books. I would recommend people to read Vogue.
Nice one. And last but not the least, why Dubai?
Why Dubai? Because of every single possible reason. I think that it's really a city that offers things that no other city can offer in terms of safety. It's a bit of a cliche, we say this all the time, but it's the truth. Safety, quality of life, it's by the beach, the sun is shining, it's a happy place.
Nice.
Nice indeed. It's been a happy show, that's for sure. Manuel, can't thank you enough for guest co-hosting. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your expertise, your insights, and all. And congratulations again on the award for you and the team.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to Manuel for guest co-hosting. And Rabia, thank you so much indeed for being with us. Thanks for sharing your insights. All the best for the forthcoming seasons around the world here. And we'll be keeping keen interest and eyes on it as well. So thank you for joining us. Listen, we're going to go nowhere though. We stick around. White bit of live music to play us out. That's coming up next. Paulina will be playing us. Well, she'll be playing for us next.